This video is brought to you by Soundpeats. The last time I was truly excited for Soundpeats, it was probably the H1. Remember this thing? It was amazing at the time. Well, today we're going to check out the Opera 05 and Opera 03, and this one especially, I dare say, is the best yet from the company. But don't take my word for it. Buckle up for a battle between my best earbuds recommendations, and you'll see why by yourself. Let's get started. Selamat pagi! Good morning everyone, Kenneth here, and welcome to my feature showcase of the Soundpeats Opera 05 and Opera 03. We're gonna mostly focus on the 05 today because they're both exactly the same, only the 05 has the all-new one dynamic driver plus two balanced armature drivers. And not only that, you got ANC transparency, 7 hours of playtime with ANC on, and it cost how much? 70 bucks! Now, it's actually the super early bird price on Kickstarter, so you might want to get it right now. You can check the links in the description and come back for the video. But I'm gonna keep in mind that these are going to retail at 99 bucks. Although to be honest, it's still well worth it at the price. So, as always, my full disclosure is down below, but know that I always give you my honest and real experience here. And once again, thanks to Soundpeats for their support in making this video possible. Now, getting back to the Opera 05, the burning hot question that's on your mind is probably gonna be, how does it sound, right? Well, hit the thumbs up because we are going to talk about exactly that right now and everything else after. So, the Opera 05 has what I call the Soundpeats Signature V2 because its usual bassy balance tuning is taken to a whole new level with the added balance armature that opens up a layer of clarity to the instruments and vocals, especially in very busy songs like this J-Rock from Yorushika. The re-recorded version of Bomber never felt crowded at all. Even in the chorus, the dynamic of the song from the lush deep bass up to the crystal clear vocals are brought together in a very engaging package. Treble detail shines the most here, as in Don't Stop Me Now by Queen. You can easily hear the softer hi-hat hits in the background that's brought more forward along with vocal presence and instrumentation in general. But do keep in mind that louder cymbal hits or the S's and T's could get borderline sibilant here, although a line should be drawn as it's not unnaturally piercing, but it's more like, you know, the real thing. Cymbal is just annoying, right? So for this comparison, I'll be using my Poco F4 GT with Apple Music Lossless as the source, and to level the playing field and really compare the best each earbuds has to offer here, I'll use the best codec supported, which is mostly going to be LDAC. And let's start out with the somewhat similarly priced earbuds here. We have the Edifier W240TN, one of my favorite under 100 buds of 2022. So codec wise, these only support SBC and volume is 2 clicks louder than the Opera. But in reality, it sounds great, although known to have smaller, more compressed soundstage, but with my EQ, it has a nice, warm, and forward vocal presentation. Detail-wise, especially on the cymbal instruments, they are better on the Opera 05, but it has its own charm for giving a laid-back listening experience instead of the Soundpeats, which is more something you dance to with this V-shaped tuning. In case you're wondering, the default dynamic EQ and Edifier is also pretty good. It makes the low end just as punchy as the Soundpeats, but the treble doesn't have the extension and sparkle like the Opera 05 has. Then top it off with a wider soundstage overall, and you'll see why the Opera easily grabs the win here. Next up, I want to bring in something special in my heart, and that is the FIIL T1 Pro. This earbuds has been around for a while now, but the quality is still really good. Especially I've heard that some of you can get it at below 30 bucks. That is a seriously tough price to beat, but let's see how the sound quality compares. So the best codec it supports is AAC, and volume wise, this is one of the louder earbuds out there, but the Opera is still 1 click louder. As for the song, I'm picking Black or White by Michael Jackson here, and immediately I noticed soundstage has better depth on the Opera despite having similar V-shaped tuning. Furthermore, it's pretty clear that the Opera 05 has stronger sub-bass rumble, more laid-back vocals, but it's not drowned out, and the upper mid to treble is satisfyingly piercing, like your head is going to move by itself with every clap and snare hits that makes the beat of this song. I would sum it up as Opera being more dynamic with similar sound signature, thus making it the perfect upgrade and the clear winner to the FIIL T1 Pro at the same time. Okay, moving on, here we have the Soundcore Space A40. This time, we're using LDAC, and volume-wise, the Opera 2 is now 2 clicks louder. By default, the Space A40 really needs a bit of upper mid push. So I'll just go straight to my recommended EQ. You can find it in my review linked below. And comparing Always by Bon Jovi here, I can immediately feel that the Space A40, well, you know, it has nice and wide soundstage, it lags behind on the depth perception. So we can hear that the vocal and instruments are placed on a rather flat plane on the Space A40 compared to the Soundpeats that has bass and instrument enveloping the vocal in the center. I think what's most remarkable is the treble detail that is a no contest anymore. The Opera pulls ahead by a significant margin. And yeah, sound quality wise, I think we have a pretty clear winner again, which is interesting considering the retail price of these two are, you know, pretty much the same. I think it comes down to whether you need the best sound quality, which is the Opera 05, or the more daily use earbuds with multi-point and smaller size, which is the Space A40. Now, let's try and kick things up a notch and bring in the big boys. Starting with the Edifier NeoBuds Pro. Playing with my custom EQ and LHDC codec, because for some reason LDAC is not working here, the volume is still 1 click louder on the Opera. And comparing Love Story by Taylor Swift, the Opera 05 has treble clarity that puts the NeoBuds Pro to shame. But it's sort of a double-edged sword because it makes the song quite tiring, especially if you are not used to it. But one thing that's objectively better is, like I said before, with the layer of clarity opened up in the Opera 05, I noticed for the first time that the drummer is playing a tambourine as well. Starting from the second verse, every drum riff ends with an open hi-hat followed by a tambourine hit, like something like that, you know. And towards the outro of the song, he just hits the tambourine all the time instead of the hi-hat. This is actually something mind-blowing, as I've never noticed that before. But now that I know it, when listening to the Edifier, I can notice it, but it's just like, oh, turns out that's a tambourine. And all this time I didn't know because it doesn't have the same crispy texture to it like the Opera does, which is crazy insane. Finally, I want to send some love to the Soundcore Liberty 3 Pro here. Still one of my favorite earbuds. Till this day, you can get it at under $100 nowadays, which is a freaking steal. But let's talk about how the sound quality compares, right? So we're gonna use LDAC on this bad boy, and volume wise, it's about 1 click louder on the Opera again. Looks like we have the loudness winner here. But getting back to the comparison, it's interesting to hear that the tuning again has similar bassy balanced character. But to show you how they're different exactly, I want to take a new song that I've been addicted to recently. This is OMG by New Jeans. I'll compare the Liberty 3 Pro with the default tuning instead, as I feel like my custom EQ is not polished enough to make a good comparison here. So I love the default tuning on the Soundcore. Very punchy bass, very clear vocals. Actually, out of everything we've compared today, this is the only one that can compete with the Opera 05 in terms of clarity. But my one and only complaint since the beginning of time is the upper treble that gets piercing, which necessitates the whole custom EQ thingy. And this is something that's not a problem on the Soundpeats. So the Opera 05 is just as punchy and detailed on the low to mid range while being just as clear on the treble end, but not as piercing. And if that's not enough, it even pulls ahead in the upper mid range as female vocals sounded more full bodied and the depth of the soundstage is noticeably better too. All in all, I can confidently say that I enjoy the Opera 05 more, and after all these comparisons, I realized just how groundbreaking the sound upgrade is in the under 100 price bracket. Now while we're at it, let's touch the Opera 03 a little bit. It's basically an Opera 05 with one less balanced armature, which means you'll hear less of that softer hi-hat hits and other subtleties happening in the upper mid to treble range. But it's great in its own right, especially when you prefer something more toned down on the treble end. This might be the one for you. And also the color is different. The Opera 05 is like gold, like pure gold color, where this one is like more champagne bronze. That's what they call it. But going back to the Opera 03. This is actually just as great of an option because it is the perfect upgrade to the legendary Soundpeats H1 or True Engine 3 SE, because at a more affordable price point, you get not only better build quality, a dedicated pairing button, ANC transparency, no bright LEDs on the earbuds, and the more friendly earbuds in general because it doesn't fit as incredibly deep as those in the past, and most importantly, the sound quality is still an upgrade. So compared to the H1 right here, when listening to Attention by Charlie Puth, I can immediately notice stronger bass response, wider sound staging, and still a more forward vocal presentation. This is basically a refined Soundpeats sound signature we all know and love, and it does a good job in playing other genres as well. Oh, and codec wise, you see a move from aptX adaptive to a more universally supported LDAC, and again, the volume is one click louder compared to the H1. Okay, that's it for the sound quality. If you find the video helpful so far, definitely consider subscribing. I review a lot of tech and audio in the channel. I know this community would love to have you around, but with that aside, let's talk about all the other features and stay tuned until the end for the latency and microphone test. So let's talk about ANC first, and here it does the job pretty well. Not the strongest thing on earth, but expect a good reduction in low frequency noises like AC, fridge, the background noise in a shopping mall, that kind of stuff. But the sound of people talking or mid to high frequency noises will be left to the passive noise isolation from the ear tips. The good thing is there's no change in EQ between different ANC modes, so there's no hissing whatsoever here. Same thing goes for the transparency mode. It actually sounds quite natural, and most importantly, there's no annoying electronic hissing happening. Just the volume isn't that loud, and you can still hear your own bone conducted sound when talking. So a lot of the time, while I can hear what the other side is talking, I take off at least one earbud out just to speak more comfortably. Now, by default, you could only change ANC modes with a long hold on the left earbud, but they remember their last use setting, and they activate even when you only use one earbud. So it is possible to, let's say, leave the earbuds with transparency mode, you close the case, and then the next time you use it, you take only the right side out, and it will automatically turn on with transparency mode. And speaking of which, the controls are the same as any other Soundpeats, which means it's pretty much perfect. You can control everything, including volume, on one tap, but you cannot customize it much in the app, as there's only an option to disable one tap for volume in case that annoys you. This is something that I'd like to see improve next, especially if we can customize the controls when using only one earbud. But to be honest, this is more like a future suggestion, as the earbuds as they are now are already superb. They has always been, and they don't need much tweaking anyway. Now, how about the design and fit? To be honest with you, it's a really cool design refresh. I love the gold accents down to the USB port here. The lid is nicely spring loaded so it doesn't close accidentally by itself. But oh my goodness, is it a chunky boy. Especially the earbuds here, they're quite heavy and they stick out, which makes it impossible to use when sleeping sideways. But on day-to-day use like this, they actually fit just fine for me. You just have to get used to the slightly added pressure on the back of your ear, but it doesn't hurt for longer listening periods, at least for me. And also there's plenty of space to grab onto when adjusting the earbuds, so there's no accidental touches happening. By the way, it's interesting to know that this design makes sure that there's no way to interfere with the transparency mode microphones. Not on the microphone hole down here, not also on the extra hole in the top here. So any way you hold it, you won't hear a screeching sound, which is a plus point in my book. Now, moving on to battery life. Well, this case doesn't hold as much battery, only 300 mAh inside, despite, the big looking case. It still provides just shy of 3 more charges. And the earbuds do last quite long at 7 hours with ANC on, or up to 8 hours without. But keep in mind that this is the numbers on SBC, as using LDAC will reduce everything by about 2 hours. Still though, 5 hours on LDAC and ANC at the same time is a very good number, and it is enough for day-to-day use. So I guess the extra bulk of the earbuds paid off here. It's got the endurance of the Sony XM4s without the discomfort, which is great. Finally, connectivity-wise, I've used this with both Android and iOS, and regardless of codec, both Operas sounded awesome. And I know at this price point, we could get multi-point, which is not present here, but I think Soundpeats prioritizes sound quality this time around. I could definitely say that it's well worth it. I've never had any dropouts or starting issues. Maybe the lack of gaming mode could be a bummer for some, but it's definitely not a deal breaker. Anyway, let's wrap up the video video with the latency test quickly, followed by the microphone test.
Selamat pagi. Good morning everyone, Kenneth here, and my goodness, what a year 2022 has been. Firstly, who would have thought that I'd have a kid at 25?
Alright, so welcome everyone to the microphone test. Here we are with the Soundpeats Opera 5, and if you're wondering, by the way, this is how it looks like from the front, and to me, actually, it looks kind of normal, doesn't really, annoy me at all. But that's because I have a relatively big ear here. So if that's something that you'd worry about, then you would want to worry about that because these do, stick out quite a bit. But yeah, this is an indoor setting. There's nothing going on here. Just like outside my room, there's a TV playing for my kid. Otherwise, this is how it sounds like. And I'm not gonna repeat the same test with the Opera 03 because they are exactly the same thing. Okay, so now let's go outside and we'll see how the noise cancellation in, a real environment. Okay, outdoor microphone test. We'll start out with the front microphone of the my iPhone camera first, and then we'll see, you have an idea of how loud the street is. Not super loud, but it's quite loud. But anyway, we have a wind blowing here, so let's wear these and then try it out and see how it performs. Alright, now we are on Soundpeats Opera 05. What do you think of the sound quality? In my opinion, this is a much better, a performer compared to past Soundpeats. They were not well known for their good microphone quality, but it's much better now. And also we have a little bit of wind blowing right to my side right here. I think they shaped it as like an L tube so that, it resists wind noise a little bit. So what do you think of the sound quality? Are they interrupted by the wind whatsoever? What I know for sure is when the wind is blowing very strong, then that thing is not going to work. The wind noise will still come in. So I'm going to compare it to the benchmark of my test, the AirPods Pro 2, so let's check it out right now. Okay, so here we are now with the AirPods Pro 2, same exact situation, and just a little bit of wind blowing at my face here. So what do you think of the sound quality? But yeah, if you want to watch more of my recommendations and videos, I'll put some of them right here. And thank you so much for watching. I gotta step inside the room right now. It's so bright and hot. And I'm Kenneth, signing out. Damn, it's so hot right here.